To start with, we're going to disassemble an existing assembled riser. You need to understand the same rules apply for stripping down the set as putting it up, which is to be aware that you're not going to damage yourself or the risers in the process, or trap fingers, hopefully. So we're going to get hold of the back rail, moving it, holding it at about the junction between the top and bottom, undo the retaining clip, and for the purpose of your riser maintenance team, if these clips do not stay in the upright position when they are unlatched, then you need to ask them to tighten them up just to be firm, to stay where you put them, so that they're not dropping all the time. So that's out of the way. I'm holding this to the right hand side to keep it engaged. Grip it again and move it to your left, and it's there and nothing's dropped off. Okay, now a lot of the people prefer to strip down, actually putting the back rail as is. That's fine. I prefer personally to hold it like this, putting one foot on the rail and supporting it between your body and your arm, and just release the clip. This then goes here, always remembering that the wheel goes in between these two areas. Clip it on, push it down. Control of this at all times. Again, control in between the body and the arm. The wheel between the top two rails there. There you go, that's that one. That's put to one side. Now a lot of people have trouble with the fourth step, but there's really no need to. Again, the same applies for your riser maintenance team on ensuring that these don't do what this one's doing. That needs tightening up fractionally so that it stays in the upright position. You see, now we've lost that, so therefore you've lost that facility of forgetting, putting it in position and forgetting about it, which is what we need. You've got your left hand here keeping a right pressure. Gently move the whole riser. Again, you see, we've dropped, so we've lost that facility. That's your riser maintenance team must keep these in good order. Pull it to your left slightly, which disengages from the third step. Keep in control of it at all times. Pull it back, and then either lift it, making sure that you don't get your fingers in between here on this trap. Don't get your fingers there. And that then is ready for going away. Just a further point on riser maintenance. This one, this back rail, this fourth step rather, is slightly loose. You see that? That's a little bit too loose. We want a little bit more control. So that's down to your riser maintenance team again to ensure that that nut and bolt and that nut and bolt are just nipped up sufficient so that you don't get that swing. We don't need that. You're out of control when that happens. Bring it down, mind your foot, lay it down or take it up under your arm and you're away. Okay, the third step. It's so simple, and yet everybody seems to have problems with it. The mechanism here is a slide up, which is a safety catch release. That actually is a slight press down to release the pin. When that's down, that won't interfere with the working. So what you've got is that's safe. That is ready for disassembling. So when you're ready to strip the riser down, you slide your foot up, press down, and keep pressure on your foot, because that then helps to control the riser as it goes down. It's as simple as that. You bend and lift it over centre, and you're ready then for lifting and putting away. Okay, now we're going to assemble this completely again, just to familiarise yourself. Offer it up, the riser itself, offer it up where you know the front of the stage is, so that the narrow part of the risers are facing, which stops you turning them around as you're assembling onto stage, and you don't have that much space. Lift, always under control, knees and back, keep your back straight. This wheel is used as a fulcrum as well as for aiding getting up and down steps. Step here, it asks you to step here to set up the riser. One step, push down, that starts the process. So basically it's step, bend, grasp, lift, one continuous movement. Be aware that the mechanism of this stay bar is such that there are two lock positions. One is the right position, the other one is a safety position, which is not quite up. You'll see this is not in the vertical. You can make a mistake in disassembling the riser. If you release this too quickly, the pin will go into the second hole and the riser will freeze in that position. Instead of messing about trying to get it out, bring it back, foot there, bring it back and start again, taking it past the position where the pin will engage the hole, and then that's no problem. There we go, that's up and that's solid. So we'll look at the fourth step. Again, be aware when you're moving the fourth step that you present it to the third steps with the narrow edge there to save yourself having to turn it around when you realise you have it the wrong way around. Sometimes you get a bit of a lock and you have to release there to allow you to just start the movement. Again, under control at all times. Okay? Just make sure you control it. Your riser maintenance team will help you in this by utilising the tightness of those bolts. Bring it forward and immediately adjacent to the third step, keeping it under control at all times. These two horns have got to go to the right hand side of the third step upright. So this one goes between the upright and the wheel, and this one goes again between the upright and the double wheel. Push it forward. It always has to be slightly on the angle, because otherwise you won't get the clamping plates in position. Again, these need to be in the upright position. Snug it up, push it down, snug it up, push it down. We have a maintenance issue that you need to be aware of, is that when these are offered up, if you look here, you see you have two locating strips. In general usage, this bottom one usually gets pushed back into its socket. If that happens, you will have difficulty in engaging the slide of that with the vertical of the third step. So again, that's another point for the maintenance team to look out for, that these are always forward to give you a lead in when you offer up the fourth step. This one needs a little bit of attention. It's not quite far enough out, so therefore I have to give it a bit of a push to make sure that it's in the correct position for locking. That's stable. The back rail situation now. Again, as previously mentioned, a lot of gentlemen like to assemble it actually on the top of the riser. You find your best way of doing it while you're in control of the parts at all time. Personally, I like to do the same on assembly as I do on disassembly, which is to have it like this and having this in control. Now, be aware that this is the front of the back rail. This is the support, back support. The wheels always go inboard with the locking unit to the front. That's one. When you assemble, always be aware that the legs must go, the wheels must go inboard facing each other, and this slot must be forward to the face of the back rail. Slotting it in. Again, hold it here so that if you turn it up like that, there are times when this may well drop out if these pins are a little weak. So grasp there so that you've got control, nothing's going to drop off. You're offering it up from the left hand side like this. You just gently let it sit, the wheels on the back rail, there. And if you're agile enough, you can do this and do this. And that's simple. When you're moving the riser on stage or in an auditorium situation, you can move it as a whole unit by keeping your back straight, bending your knees, lifting the whole unit onto its back wheels. Be aware that the movement from here to the floor is magnified at that end so that you don't lift it up and knock somebody on the head as they're walking by. That then is able to be moved, adjusted into position as required. All the risers have the interlock bars, and one of the riser will lock onto another, making sure that it's in position close together and the two sets of steps are reasonably flush. That will depend upon the floor as much as anything. There you have it, gentlemen. Like I say, just be aware of what your body has to do and concentrate on what you're doing.